Hey guys, it's me Sylvia, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking all about brows. I don't have any brow products on my brows right now. I feel so weird because I have a full face of makeup on, but it's for the sake of the video. I'm gonna be showing you guys a bunch of different brow hacks, but they're not like the weird hacks that I've tested in previous videos. Those were a lot of fun. But these are more of like real tips and tricks that are actually gonna help you perfect your brow in a kind of realistic way, I would hope. And to make this a little bit easier for you guys to follow along, because I know I love the do's and don'ts type of videos, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys with each hack the do side and the don't brow. If you do anything on the don't brow, you know, if I'm saying don't do this and you happen to do it and you like the way you do it, keep doing it, okay? Life is too short for people to be telling you what to do. But generally, you know, if you're looking to improve your brows, you might be doing one or two of these things. And if you try and fix one or two of those things, you might like the outcome of your brows. And I'm just gonna quickly say subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, because I'm almost at 1 million subscribers. So please help me get there. It'd be awesome if you could join the S Club. And also, I don't have perfect brows, so don't be dragging me in the comments. This is just, you know, some helpful hacks that I really like and that I think a lot of people could benefit off of. So let's get on with the video. Let's start the hacks.
So the first hack is for something very, very important. It's how to choose the right shade for your brows. So you can see here, you know, you have a lot of shades. It can be pretty confusing, but my tip for this is to use your natural hair color as a guide to choose your color. So I decided to go with this dark brown shade in the palette, and I'm mixing the two together to make sure it's not too harsh and just applying that like normal. And if you have dyed hair like me, you might want to try using a colored brow mascara to either soften or darken your brow hairs depending on your preference. So since my natural brow hairs are very, very dark, I like to lighten them using this NYX brow mascara in brunette, and this will just really coat all your brow hairs to make them look like they're a little bit lighter than they actually are. And I really like the way this looks against my blonde hair. I feel like it definitely looks better than my harsh and natural brows. Now for the don't side, you shouldn't be using a shade that's more than 2 shades darker or lighter than your natural brows. This can make your brows look way fake. So here you see I'm using a very, very dark shade that's a little bit too dark for my natural brows, and it ain't cute. So the second hack is for quick brow growth. I know we all love that. So you always want to make sure that you are working with your natural brow shape when tweezing and cleaning them up, but sometimes it's going to be hard to know where to pluck. So I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. You'll be able to find where the natural points of your brow are if you use something straight. So I like to use a brush and just measure it from your nostril straight up to the inner corner of your eye, the middle of your eye, and also the outer corner of your eye. Wherever the brush handle lays on your brow is where your brow should begin, where you should have your arch, and where your brow should end. That way you know exactly where not to pluck and where to keep your natural shape. Now that you know where your natural brow shape is supposed to be, say you overpluck and you need your brow hairs to grow in quick, girl. Well, I got you such a simple remedy. I got this castor oil from the drugstore. It's so easy to find, and it works as like a hair growth serum. So all you gotta do is coat your eyebrow hairs or even your eyelashes. It'll help with that too. And just like use it regularly overnight, and it'll really help you regrow your hairs a lot faster than normal. Now for the don't brow. You do not want to be over plucking, okay? Don't get carried away with your tweezers or any wax, because, oh, I actually almost plucked out my brow there. It really terrified me. But anyways, back to over plucking. Look at me. You got to stop yourself. If this happens to you, stop yourself from over plucking, because it'll leave you with thinned out, unflattering brows. Hack number 3 is to make sure you have long-lasting brows. So for the do side, you do want to make sure you're using long-lasting brow products to ensure your brows stay on all day. And a hack for this is to actually use an eyeshadow primer. So I'm using Too Faced Shadow Insurance and just dipping that into a spoolie brush and running that through my brows before I go in with any other brow product. And I swear to you, this will change your life. You can literally move your brow hairs whatever way you want. They will stay in place all day through sweat, through rain, through anything, boo-boo. So make sure you use this hack because it's awesome. Now for the don't side, this might seem silly or like common sense, but honestly, I've done it before. So if you're moisturizing your face during the day, like I'm pretending to moisturize my face in the morning, you know, and then you put your brow product on afterwards, that shit is so slippery. So make sure that you're waiting for your moisturizer to set into your skin and dry up before you go in with any brow product. Otherwise, the product will just swipe right off your brows. So hack number 4 is for perfectly gradient brows. You know that Instagram brow that's so popular? Yeah, for that. So you do want to make sure that you're being careful when filling in your brows to make sure they stay as natural looking as possible. So you're going to want to be applying a very, very light hand when you're filling in the front of your brow and just doing light little strokes if you're using a pencil to imitate little hairs, and then use a little bit more pressure on the tail end of your brow because our natural brows go lighter to darker, so that's what we want to be imitating here. Now the hack for this is no matter what brow product you use, you always want to be using a spoolie brush when you're done filling in to blend and soften the brows. So if you use too much product at the front of your brows, just keep blending with that spoolie and it'll give you that gradient look that you want. And for the don't side, you do not want to be applying product with a harsh hand throughout your entire brow, especially not a pomade that's already a very heavy product like I'm doing here. This will create a harsh block brow, so make sure you blend, honey, because you don't want that. So this next way to do your brows is great if you're trying to hide brow growth when you have those pesky hairs growing in. So for the do side, you do want to fill them in as you normally would with your desired shape, even if you're growing in those hairs, but use some concealer or foundation to actually carve out your brows on the top and the bottom. So this will help you hide those tiny unready hairs that are growing in, but also sharpen up your brow shape. So it's going to draw attention away from the extra hair growth around the brow and make your brow shape sharp and clean. And what you don't want to be doing when you're growing in your brow hairs is trying to hide it by applying even more brow product to those areas where the hairs are coming in. That will create an unnatural look since you don't have the brow hair in those areas yet. You know what I mean? So hack number 6 is to get some even brows, girl. So you don't want to be using a tiny mirror to fill in each brow one by one, because this will make it harder to see the big picture and can lead you to filling them in very differently, like you can see here. So don't do that. You do want to be using a big enough mirror to see both brows, and brows are meant to be sisters, not twins. But to achieve the most even looking brows, go back and forth between the two brows when filling them in instead of doing each one separately. This will force you to work on them step by step and make it easier to create even looking brows. So for hack number 7, we're gonna get youthful lifted brows. For the do side, you do wanna make sure you're using a light colored highlight shade. So I'm using this light colored eyeshadow and placing that in the arch of my brow. And this is gonna create the illusion of a lifted brow and give you a more youthful look. And who needs Botox when you can do this little trick? For the don't side, do not use a dark shadow on the brow bone. This will make it look more sunken in and droopy, not a good look. You can see the difference is pretty dramatic between the two brows, so this is why I love to highlight my brow bone in all my tutorials. And the last hack is probably the most useful hack. If you just find plucking your eyebrows way too painful, it can be a thing from hell. To make it as least painful as possible, all you gotta do is use a warm washcloth over your brow, or if you do this after a warm shower, it'll help to open up the hair follicles and make it a lot less painful to pull out those big brow hairs, and then you can pluck all those hairs out, girl, and you're good. And for the don't side, you do not want to be waxing if you don't want a painful brow grooming. Oh, my phone. That's my phone. Okay. If you don't want it to be painful, like I clearly am showing in the video here, it's the most painful way to get rid of the hair. So try the other method that I mentioned first.
So that's all the brow tips and tricks that I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something new. I do want to mention that I made a Facebook page recently, so if you haven't yet liked that, all of my posts and everything will be up on there all in one place. So make sure you go like that. I will leave the link at the top of the description. That's all for now. Make sure you go and check out my last upload if you haven't seen it yet. Just click the box right below me, and of course subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Just click that circle picture of my face right in the bottom corner of the screen here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.